Meet Serena, your virtual companion for emotional support. The ultimate safe space to discuss your thoughts, your fears, and the ups and downs of daily life. Start your free trial today at serena.chat.
My 35F husband, 38M, told me I'm disgusting. We've been together years. Have 2 kids together. One a toddler. The other elementary age. I struggle with depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Severely. I'm on 3 different medications. And have a history of meth use where I died twice. Not to mention almost being murdered. This is in my past, yet I still struggle. It happens. Between that and childhood trauma, I know I'm going to forever have this struggle. I'm a stay-at-home mom. My kids are homeschooled. I am with them 24/7. Our youngest still co-sleeps. Between my mental health and the time my kids take up, I just sort of put my personal hygiene on the back burner. I will admit, I shower every other day. I brush my teeth every day though. I know I've gained weight since we met. I've also had 2 kids and then I was bedridden due to a car accident for 6 months. Tonight he told me I'm disgusting. That I've let myself go and he hates it. That I used to care about myself and now I just don't. IDK how to process this. It really hurt my feelings and my first instinct was to lash out, but I just left the room. Abs now I'm crying. How do I explain that it's just not easy for me to have the desire to put more effort in? Ellipsis. I want to do better, I want to lose weight and look prettier. But it's like something inside me just hates me so much that I can't. IDK how to describe it. How should I go about bringing up that it really hurt my feelings and make him understand it's hard for me? Update. IDK why everyone is harping on the homeschool bit? Like my kids are extremely socialized, and they learn a lot through various means. Online curriculum, worksheets, co-op. My reason for no public school is honestly nobody's business. But since y'all can't stop bringing it up, I believe school to be unsafe. Bullying, school shootings, no real-world value. My son was in kindergarten and coming home telling me he was being bullied, talks of sex were happening, cussing. Not to mention his IEP being completely disregarded numerous times. I educate my kids at home, but they are not prisoners at home. They have plenty of real-world experiences and friends and are educated plenty for their ages. And for everyone trying to say they think it's a red flag or dangerous? Comparing me to a mom who killed her children? Really? I love my children. Everything I do is for them. That probably is a major reason I am burnt out. And others are right, I can't pour from an empty cup. I spend all my energy and love on my kids. Leaving none for myself or my husband. Homeschooling my kids is not a red flag. I would never hurt them. And I'm appalled that so many would even think that simply because of my choice on education. One more thing, my past drug use is in my past. I am clean and sober and have been before my children were born or conceived. So fuck off respectfully. How dare any of you think that has something to do with my parenting? The only thing it's done is be more aware of the dangers of drug use. And when my kids are old enough, then being able to share my experiences so they know that it's no joke. Depression sucks. It makes you not want to do anything at all. Get those kids in a real school so that you have time to focus on you a little bit. Can you explain me how your kids are being homeschooled when you have so much problems with yourself and your relationship? Why are you homeschooling them? Homeschooling children, clownface. Put those children in school and for the love of all that is holy get yourself some counseling. Best wishes. My wife, 24 female, left me, 24 female, alone with my dying cat. My wife left me with my dying cat. A little backstory: I am now 24F, and I have a 10-year-old cat who is my world. When I was young, my mother was a drug addict and had BDP. Growing up was as awful as it could be, but when I was around 14 I got a kitten that my grandmother got me for my birthday. He was the only one I could come home to and would be with me. When I would spend nights working 70 hours a week at 16 to take care of me and my sister and save for college, he was the only one I had, the one I would come home to and lay with and talk to, and he continued to be that through my mom's addiction growing and all the fucked up shit after. He recently got very sick and hasn't eaten in about a week. I'm now a teacher and have a very limited income and have been working paying off debt, so I have very little expendable money and no savings. When my cat got sick I tried everything I could to help him, but he continues to get worse. I didn't have the money to get the expensive testing done to find out exactly what's wrong or help him, until I got paid today and broke down and decided to just spend my rent money to try and get him help at an emergency vet because I could not stand one more day watching him slowly dying at home. Life has been awful and my wife knows I've been coming home incredibly stressed and have been working 5 a.m. 8 p.m. every day, working 3 jobs and not even seeing my cat in his last days. I never cry, but I have been incredibly emotional and crying every hour, especially since I've been sitting in this waiting room for 3 hours. I've been hearing about people's pets dying and there are signs everywhere about people grieving and coming in to say goodbye, and it has been rough. My wife came with me to the vet, but after an hour decided she wanted to go home and sleep. At 6 p.m. she left me here alone while I'm still waiting to be seen. She does work early, at 5 a.m., and she normally goes to bed around 9 p.m. 10 p.m. An hour into waiting here, and me crying, I tried to be positive and said, "Hey, what do you want for dinner after this? I'll buy us something since you've been waiting." She said, "I'm really tired and want to go home." I didn't know what to say, so I told her that's fine, I know very well, it's not fair for me to say go and expect her to stay. But I didn't want to force her to be here, and honestly I did not really want her here if she didn't want to be here. I've been in pain and hurting and it's been a hard day, so I was just not in the mood to battle this. I thought my gesture would just be like a nice gesture, but I didn't think she would actually leave. There was no protest, she just said okay, I love you, bye. Now she's at home having dinner with our roommates, and hanging out with them. I'm here alone waiting. I am so hurt and don't know what to do. I honestly don't want to go home. I just feel like she could have at least tried to be with me. I don't know if I am being dramatic or petty. Is it ridiculous that I'm mad about this? Should I even bring it up again? This is just the worst night. Help. Your wife sucks. My wife is a vet and sees this a lot. Some people really struggle to be around pets dying. Other people don't view it as being very serious. I'm very sorry you are going through this alone. When my cat got sick, my partner and I rushed to an emergency vet at 1 a.m. over an hour away. We both had work the next day, and we were both exhausted and emotional. We both stayed at the vet over 24 hours to support each other, to be there for each other, and to remind each other to drink water and have snacks. We would have never left each other alone in such an awful time. You have to be a special kind of heartless to leave your partner alone. I would never forgive them. Wife, lol, she's a stupid, emotionally immature 24y. Oh. She's not ready to be anyone's wife. She should have stayed to support you regardless of her feelings for the cat. If I saw my spouse upset and crying, I would support them. My fiancé, 33M, invalidates my feelings and gets mad when I, 26F, cry. My partner works a lot, and recently I expressed to him that I wanted him to set aside quality time for me. I have been avoiding this conversation for about 3 weeks of feeling this way because our conversations about my feelings almost always end up in a fight, so I have learned to stay quiet. I try to stay very calm when I express my feelings because I am constantly walking on eggshells to avoid upsetting him. I told him that I would appreciate some quality time since he sleeps on the couch every night and I go to bed alone and it gets lonely sometimes. I did tell him I understand his work is very important to him and I want him to succeed and focus and feel fulfilled because I know he puts a lot of pride in his work, self-employed. This conversation had me tearing up a little because it's vulnerable for me and I am genuinely a bit hurt or feeling neglected. He got immediately frustrated once he saw the tears and said that, girls just want all the attention, and, we're so dramatic, and made a comment that now his night is thrown off because I'm crying. I told him I am not trying to throw anything off, I just want to come to him with my feelings and feel safe and heard so we can solve the issue and have clear communication between us, but he just takes it as I just want to argue. He said, I always throw things off. He also says to find another guy and that he's not the right guy for me, which hurts me as well. I always leave these conversations feeling like I should have never spoke up and I have to stay silent to keep the peace. I also end up getting my feelings hurt even more by the insensitive things he says, and my choices feel like I either stay quiet or I say something and get my heart broken further. I feel this is unfair because these things should not escalate, explode the way that they do. On one occasion early on in our relationship, I remember asking for validation, affirmation from him because I felt unappreciated, and he told me to shut up and get over it. Is there something I could be doing differently, or is this situation a lost cause? Too long did not read. Partner invalidates my feelings and conversation always ends in an argument, leaving me feeling worse. Situation has not improved over 3-4 years of being together. Why are you marrying this guy? This is not love. Please don't think you need to make yourself small for love. True love makes you build confidence and lets you soar as high as the sky. Walk away and learn to fly. He also says to find another guy and that he's not the right guy for me, which hurts me as well. I agree with him. Find someone who treats you better. He has made you scared to even bring up a concern because you know you are about to get manipulated and emotionally abused. I'm so sorry. I can't think of anything more hurtful than this. It's so hard to be vulnerable with your heart and emotions, and to have your partner insult and belittle you during this is really damaging. I think trust and emotional safety are huge priorities in a relationship, and it doesn't sound like he's meeting your needs. I usually advocate communication in this subreddit, but you sound like you're communicating really honestly and respectfully. Sometimes there's just not a solution. Why are you with him op? You sound very unhappy. He has openly told you to find another man. Men mean what they say. We as women make excuses for the way we are treated and the things they say when they don't even have the decency to make excuses for themselves. This man is not the one for you. You deserve someone who wants to listen to your feelings and opinions and appreciates that you are coming to him and being open. Don't tie yourself to a lifetime of walking on eggshells or being silent. It will hurt a lot to leave, but you will learn to listen to your own voice again and find someone who truly cares about your feelings and prioritizes making you happy. My 32 female husband, 35 male, wants me to quit my job and find one with normal hours. I have about 10 years of restaurant experience, mainly bartending. My husband has a very stable job with benefits and pension. I was bartending when I met him. When we had kids, we agreed that I would stay home until they are in school. My youngest is starting kindergarten this September. I got a job at a restaurant that is a 10-minute walk from our house that I started a couple months ago. The hours are amazing as it closes at 9, so I'm usually not home later than 10. He is struggling with my hours being different than his, though I only work 3 shifts a week, usually 4 5-hour per shift. He asks me why I wouldn't just get a job at a store so I can have normal hours. I told him I would find that boring and that I love the fast pace of a restaurant. He then asks me why I don't work at an animal hospital again, to which I replied the hours are terrible, 630 m starts. And I also had my puppy die in front of me a couple years ago and am traumatized, and my position would require me to assist with euthanasia. He says that he was traumatized from going to war and he still is able to go to his work every day, and that also working in a store would be similar to his job working in a cubicle. He is high-level military and gets to travel, so not even comparable. He says he misses spending time with me, which I totally understand that it would be a tough transition. However, I love working in restaurants and he knows that. With tips, my wage is usually around $32 per hour, and if I work at a regular minimum wage job I'd be starting at $15 per hour. I've also been running a part-time photography business for the past 5 years, but because we're military we moved 3 times in that 5-year period, making it hard to really dive into my business. It feels so good to make consistent money, and I also love my new coworkers. They welcomed me like family, which I do not have where we live because we are posted away from my hometown. It seems like he expects me to quit this job when our son starts kinder, and find a normal working hours job. We have been in marriage counseling for 2 years now pretty regularly. Am I in the wrong to want to keep my job? I can't believe these comments saying she should quit her job. She has spent her marriage following his career and taking care of their kid. If she enjoys working 3 shifts a week, he should deal with it. I would be surprised if part of hubby's objection wasn't that he might now have to take care of his own kid and make his own dinner a few days a week. Info. What does a regular night look like when you don't have work? Do you cook dinner together? Have family time before your kids go to sleep? Who does the bedtime routine? What time does you kids go to bed? What time do you guys go to bed? I'm trying to figure out if he has an issue dealing with the kids on his own or if he truly misses spending time with you. It's only 3 days a week, so I'm thinking it's the former. If so, it sounds selfish and controlling on his part, especially when you've already given up a lot due his job. Is he not liking solo dad duty when you're working? I don't think 3-4 shifts a week is unreasonable. People need their alone time. I'd keep the job. It's 3 shifts a week for a few hours, he just needs to deal with it. Is it missing you as spouse or missing you because he's stuck with babysitting? I realize many men think they're more hands-off in the home.